Hello, folks. Back mainly due to current events. Thanks as always, folks. I'll do my topic first, and then I'll just ramble later. But thank you for being with me, folks. Thank you. Well, yesterday was an interesting day, and it's possible that part of what was going on with me and not really knowing it was sensing again another loss. That might be a stretch, but I'm saying it because once I got the news, it was, I'm used to death, but it's like every person's death affects you differently, and it's very interesting. So when I first heard about the passing of the jazz guitarist Larry Coryell yesterday, it came from the first news came from his son's Facebook page, and there was no mention of it for quite a while anywhere else in the news. So I waited, hoping that it wasn't true, even though it was posted on his son's page. But sure enough, at 73 or 74 years old, American jazz guitarist Larry Coryell has died. I have always found it interesting that here is this very gifted white jazz player who's played with everyone from Miles Davis to you know who, has always kind of been second tier when it comes to success. My guess is the man has been thoroughly concentrated on his music throughout his career rather than playing the game of the system. Spaces by Larry Coryell. This is an album, in my opinion, that is a must-hear of modern jazz. If you want to say you really know about jazz, this is an album, in my opinion, strong opinion, that you must hear. Spaces. Not only is Larry Coryell playing guitar on this, but also with John McLaughlin, Chick Corea on piano, Miroslav Vitus on bass, and Billy Cobham. This is an amazing group of musicians who pull off an excellent session here. This plus a couple of Barefoot Boy I don't own on vinyl. But those two albums, in my opinion, are enough for Larry Coryell to be in whatever Hall of Fame there is or isn't for jazz. It's a whole nother issue we could talk about. I have some other Larry Coryell albums, but like I've said in my videos past, a lot of my collection has had to be about what I could get, what I could afford, what I could find that I could afford at the time. And so I have not been able to dedicatedly collect Larry Coryell a lot because oftentimes I'll see other things I want more. But this is what I have. Difference, Larry Coryell. And I think this is around the 11th house time. It's got Tony Williams on drums here. I haven't played this in a while, but it's a French release, Difference. I haven't played it in a while. And here's one I picked up less than 2 years ago that I still have to really become familiar with. Larry Coryell, Standing Ovation Solo. He is a very intense guitar player. That's the other thing that I find interesting, that he's not more lauded, because his style is immediately recognizable, immediately, and very fiery. From last night I was playing these albums. This is still on the turntable. Larry Coryell with Philip Catherine doing guitar duos, Twin House, in 1977. Philip Catherine is also another guitar player who has not received his due, probably never will, but is very good. I was going to show, I have the album actually on the turntable, but I can't. And the other Larry Coryell album I have that I could dig up, I've probably got a few more, is an 11th house album with the recently deceased Alphonse de Mouzon. Yeah, we're at that window in time where what I consider the golden age of music has passed. And people when I was young, who I thought would never age, are now in their 70s and 80s, upper 60s, 70s, and 80s, and we're moving on. So, I thank you, Larry, and it's going out into the ether, and everyone else. The other musicians who a musician I did not know about, a guitar player who played the harp guitar, I think his last name was Shinnis. Someone online shared that with me, that that man died recently, and it's always a loss. It's always a loss. So I'm going to keep it brief, and like I said in my last video, I'm just going to be me. I'm really not going to be modifying how I do my videos for latecomers. I've been doing this for years now, and that's why it pisses me off when it's obviously, or it appears to be, people who are new to my channel trying to direct my traffic. It's just not happening. And if I lose subscribers, that is not my concern. You never hear me asking for subscribers. Do what the hell you want, all right? I did piss someone off and insult them and felt that I needed to apologize to them, so I did on Facebook. I'm real, people, but, you know, I'm telling you what, I'm always going to say what's on my mind. And I'm not acquiescing to anyone else's way of looking at the world. Your way of the world, looking at the world, isn't any better than mine. It's not. These are orders that have come in. I'm really pleased that people are buying my records. So these are going out today. I haven't done a count, but I can tell you this much, that pretty soon my album Murphy will not be available on vinyl. I maybe have 10 copies left. I'm not doing a count of the others, but Flyover's been selling the best. So I should do a count soon. But I'm certain, because of the cartons that they come in, I still have at least 100 copies of that left. But thank you all for digging on the music. That's a dream come true. This is literally a dream come true. Not having a mansion in Hollywood, not having a big car, not having a lot of money. Having people love and respect my work and buying my music and doing it worldwide, asking me for my autograph, going online and finding people displaying pictures of themselves holding my album, playing it proudly, sending me personal messages about how certain songs mean so much to them. That's my dream come true. That's what I wanted, and that's what I have. And I'm very thankful. And occasionally I'll have someone leave a message, oh, your music left me cold, it's electronic. Well, then that's just you, okay? It's not for everybody. One more thing I'd like to share about a bit of the irritation and anger that you've seen lately. It's always there, partially due to being black in America. I mean, come on, if you don't understand that, we need to talk. But two other things. I am, like everyone else, affected by the things going on around me. And when I saw that recent Ice-T body count video, and I've watched it over a dozen times because I think it's so powerful, and I think that Ice-T is so good at just getting straight to the point about when it gets down to the real nitty-gritty, no one in power cares. We're pawns. And yet, I don't want to be that way. See, I'm a human. It's anger that makes me say certain things, but common people have to cling to this false belief that they do. And that's how year after year, and administration after administration, and regime after regime, the rich and powerful get away with what they get away with, because the common person is just blind fool to what they're doing. They don't care. And thank you, brother, whoever said it. Someone left on my last video. You don't have to be white to hate Trump. That's what I'm saying. As far as I'm concerned, we're all niggas to the 1/10 of 1%. That's how it looks to me, so that's what I say. And one last thing that probably had to do with my mood, perhaps, yesterday. Although I'm telling you, this anger and irritation is real, and it's always there because of the injustice that is constantly present. Is I watched a batch of Frank Zappa interviews. I do not care what you think about Frank's music or him. I'm telling you this, that man spoke very clearly about what he thought and saw. It wasn't at all that I agreed with everything Frank Zappa said. It wasn't about agreeing with him. What it was about the laser clarity of what Frank was saying about the record industry and about human nature in a lot of ways. He was saying it way back, and all the interviewers would always poo-poo him and say, well, you're really negative, and I would hate to think that Everything he said was true then, and it's really been shown to be even worse now. Everything he said was going to happen because it was already happening has happened. That also fuels my anger, is that mainstream people want you to believe in puffy bullshit rather than dealing with the facts. And that's where I'm coming from, which is, once again, I'm not saying I'm always spouting facts, but I'm speaking from a factual point of view based on my lived experience, not what somebody's telling me to say, like a politician, especially a president. I'm speaking about past presidents, okay? Reagan was a perfect example. Brainless, had the team tell him exactly what to do, and he'd get on there and smile. And still, people think he was one of the best presidents we ever had. He was one of the best. See, I was just going, and some of you don't care about this, but notice how I put it at the end. You don't have to be watching now. Are you still watching? So yeah, Zappa was on point about the industry, about just the total corruption, and it's still there today. So you'll hear that about that from me, okay? Always.